Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This will probably be a kind of throughout the week vlog of how it's growing. So today is actually, let me move my slippers out of the way because they're making a cameo. But today is actually Wednesday. And so I stopped by Five Below and they happen to have some indoor outdoor rugs. And I wanted to get one because my balcony is wooden. And so I live on the second floor, and sometimes in my what is it called, raised garden, which is like made out of kind of like felt material, sometimes when I water it, the excess water will drain down below or drip down below, and I don't want it to do that. So I got a rug to catch it. This rug was only $7, y'all. They had a couple of other colors and pattern designs. I didn't think it was going to be this big because it's only a 3x6, but it's an indoor outdoor reversible mat, and it's just black and white with this design. And again, it's going to be sitting, the raised bed thing will be sitting on top of it, so I didn't really care too much about the design. And yeah, but I just want to show you guys because for $7, like, this is an amazing deal. So if you're looking for an indoor outdoor smaller size, because they only had this size 3x6, but if you're looking for one for something simple, maybe to go up under some chairs or where like your feet would be or something like that, or even just to coat like part of your balcony or deck, you might need to get more than one. $7, I think this is a steal. And it looks, it feels just like the other ones from like Target and stuff that start at 35. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. And while we're doing that, before I go outside and rearrange everything, I want to show you guys my cinnamon basil in the arrow garden, because you see, I should have turned the camera the other way, but we're here now. But you see how it's growing? It's crazy. It's out of control. And I'm actually going to be cutting some of it to take to work tomorrow to share with some of my colleagues. I just want to give you one last look before we switch it up. And here's another angle of the rug just so you can see it's kind of starting to roll back up at the ends. I just opened it. But again, it's a 3x6, $7 at Five Below. Alright, y'all, this is Wednesday night. I mainly want to show you just what things are looking like. You can see up top I have my herb, we have rosemary, 3 different types of mint, as well as catnip. On the bottom we have more mint, basil, and I think that's another mint, and lemon balm. Yes, so we have spearmint, basil, and lemon balm on the bottom. I haven't replanted anything in the 2 buckets yet, but here in the raised garden we have the 2 different tomatoes, the sun sugar tomatoes, and then we have the strawberries on the end there. And then I also have my sweet banana pepper plant in the white container. So that's what's out in my balcony garden currently, and just showing you where I put the rug under that raised garden to keep stopping the leaks, hopefully. And also so you can see how it looks. Alright, y'all. Before we wrap up with the balcony garden, just wanted to check in with the arrow gardens. Over here, I started a romaine section, and for some reason, I'm not having the best of luck in this particular arrow garden with romaine. Usually, my first set of 3, nothing seemed to happen, so I replanted 2 of them, I think. And as you can see, one is sprouting and seems to be doing well, but the other 2 are still not quite blossoming. And I'm not sure if it's this machine, if it's the soil, if it's the seeds. I don't know what it is. I usually have, maybe if I do 3, I might have 2 out of 3. So that's typical. But to have done these sets, I've planted at least like maybe 6 total, because I replanted or used a different seed in there in the same pods. And the seeds are sprouting, but then they're just kind of molding or not doing anything. So I don't know, but at least I have one going. And I think when I finish off with the cinnamon basil, then I will do some romaine in that one as well. So maybe it's just the machine. I don't really know what it is, but other things grow over here pretty well. So it may just be time for new seeds. So it's been 28 days, but honestly, that particular romaine sprout that you see has not been in there 28 days. It's only been there probably like a week. And so it's been 28 days since I attempted to grow. So really, if the originals had started, I would have some probably ready to eat or very close to ready to eat lettuce. But hopefully, this one's going along, so it won't be too long, maybe another couple weeks, and that one will be up to par. So I just wanted to do a check-in with this one. And that's about it. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the balcony garden. Again, you saw a little bit of it at night after I applied that new outdoor rug, which I really love. And now you'll see a more updated. So that was Wednesday, and then what you're going to see was actually taken today, which is Sunday. So you'll see any progress that happened. My herbs seem to be doing pretty well, as well as the tomatoes. And one thing I did do with the tomatoes is I added some Jode's fertilizer, which I used last year, and maybe I'll talk to you a little bit about that before we switch over to the balcony. All right, y'all. Before we go to the balcony garden, I do want to show you this. I talked about these last year because I did use them last year. These are Jove's fertilizer spikes. Now, I also use these in the house plants. I picked those up from Dollar Tree. These I ordered from Amazon. I had 2 tomato plants last year, and I used these. It says it feeds for up to 8 weeks. It comes in a resealable bag, and I usually just put 1 to 2 spikes. I think I just used 1 spike um in my raised garden beds. I think it said use 1 to 2. So use 2 spikes per plant. Probably should put a second one in there, and I might. But yeah, they worked, and my tomatoes did very, very well. So I don't know if that was contributed to this or what, or attributed to this, but these are just little spikes. And like I said, I got these off Amazon. You can probably find them at Lowe's and any like nurseries and things that sell them, but I feel like I got a better deal. So this is what they look like, and you just stick them down in your soil and then water after it to activate. And again, it's kind of like a slow release thing, and it's just fertilizer. And this one is specifically for tomato plants, but they do have some for house plants. They have them for like just regular gardening stuff. And like I said, you can get them from sometimes Dollar Tree. You can stumble upon them. That's where I get the house plant ones from. So, or check Amazon, check your, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever they sell local nurseries and whatnot. But I just would recommend them. They are organic, usually, at least the ones. I think you can get the ones for the houseplants and stuff. Those are organic. And I feel like these are pretty close to organic as well. So they come in different varieties. You can get organic and non-organic, but I feel like they're pretty close to natural as possible. And then they do have some that are actually labeled organic. So if you are specifically looking for that, you can find those as well. But that I find is a good brand. And with it being the spikes, you just put it down in there and let it go, so you don't have to deal with like smelly fertilizer or anything like that. So I would recommend that brand. And that's all in terms of kind of my tips and tricks so far. Other than you guys already know, I use Miracle-Gro soil, different variants depending on what it is. I use it for the houseplants. I use it for I use the organic for my like herbs and things that I've repotted out there. And then they also have a raised bed specific soil as well. So if you are new to gardening and you are wondering about that, you should use specific types of soil for depending on what you are planting. So if you have raised beds, make sure that you get soil that is created for raised beds. And if you ask the question like, why is it a difference, or is it just like a marketing ploy to get you to buy different types of soil? And the answer is the raised bed soil is made to usually drain a little bit quicker than the average soil, so you don't have to worry about it holding moisture and water, so that which can cause like root rot. So that's the main difference. You can create kind of your own mix sometimes if you want, but you need to have something that will kind of help drain more than what will happen with like your regular standard soil, and that is why the raised bed soil is a little bit different, and that's why they have 2 different types. So again, that's just something that to be aware of if you're using raised beds of any kind, versus also there is soil for specifically for like being in the ground. So if you are gardening like outside in the ground versus pots and containers, you may want to look at different types of soil. You can use the same or do a mix and do your own thing, but they do make soil specifically for different environments. So whether you're doing containers, indoor, outdoor, raised garden beds, or in ground, they have all different types of soil that fit for each one of those. So just make sure that you are paying attention to that, especially if you're new to gardening. If you're seasoned, you probably know how to do your own mixes and kind of get things that work for whatever environment you're using. But if you are new and you just want to make life easy, buy the types of soil for the type of environment that you will be growing your plants in. So that is my tip for this video. So now we're going to cut to the balcony garden and you can see what the progress is as of today. Thanks for watching.